Jordan. In the studio, we sporting. Anything from the land we call our own. Spreading our roots cause the love we grown.
Welcome, everybody. We are joined today on Locally Grown with Emily and Morgan of Brite Winter. How you guys doing?
Doing well, staying warm.
Cool. Well, why don't you guys, both Emily and then Morgan, tell us something about yourselves. Tell us how you got to this point in being the founders and marketer of Brite Winter.
13 and a half years ago, I was in graduate school at Case Western for speech pathology, actually, and was a super nerd and on student council for graduate student council. And my friend Jimmy and I were like, what do we think we wanted? What could Cleveland use? What does Cleveland not have that maybe other places have that are really cool? And at the time, kind of nothing was happening in the winter, like at all. Between New Year's and St. Patrick's Day, there was zilch on the calendar. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, let's do a winter festival. And, he spent some time up in New England and I spent some time in Minnesota. I'm from here, but, winter in those places is a little more predictable. Like it's more predictably cold. Versus here, in the 13 years of Brite, we've had temperatures as low as 9 and as high as 70. So you don't really know what you're going to get, which is part of the fun and part of the terror of it. But so we decided to make it focus on music and art, and because that's something that Cleveland does really well year round. So over the years, I personally have had a variety of roles in the organization, from kind of co-founder, and we started as a very loose collection of people, very grassrootsy for the first couple of years. And then we became a nonprofit. We filed our nonprofit paperwork couple years into this whole endeavor. And then, more recently, I was on the board, and then more recently, I've been in the role of managing director. And Morgan's been with us for a while too, but I will let her tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started with Brite Winter just as a regular committee member. They needed some help with social media, and I was like, heck yeah, I can do that. So I joined probably in late 2015. So 2016 was my first Brite Winter. And immediately after that, I changed roles, jumped on the board, and I have been helping manage our programming and marketing committee ever since. So I love Cleveland. I love music and I love art. And so this is a great merriment of all the things that I really love. And it's really been a fun way to be part of the community.
Thank you. Thank you both for your responses. And I think that it just attunes very well with the Locally Grown brand, because we love Cleveland and local music and, just bringing people together in that way. So thank you for what you've brought and just enriched Cleveland with, especially in these cold months when, getting anyone to do anything is just hard. And I feel like this festival, this all day, and sometimes it's 2 days too, sometimes, right?
It's been, in normal years, it's 1 day. But last year was sort of everyone's strange year. And we had a wider variety of things going on but much smaller. So last year was multi-day, but very small outdoor events. And then we had a series of a web series called the Twilight Zone, and that was multiple days as well.
Gosh, you guys are on it with the puns, and I love it.
Yes, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone. It's cool to see just something that I remember when I was still a student at Baldwin Wallace, and just finding out about Brite Winter for the first time and being like, this is an amazing thing Cleveland's doing. How have you seen it grow from 13 years to now?
Well, I think it's grown in a lot of different ways. The most obvious one is attendance. Like our attendance went from, 600 people back 13 years ago to, in a good weather year, we expect to have about 12,000 guests now. Woo! So yeah, that's obviously grown. I think we've grown in terms of our professionalism too. Like it was, and don't get me wrong, I have very fond memories of the grassroots days when we would move the same 55 cinder blocks 3 times to build a fire pit. I'm very glad we don't do that anymore, but, we're a much more professional operation now. So that's been good to see. And I think something that Cleveland deserves. And then I think in the last several years, we've really, we've done an increasingly good job, if I want to pat ourselves on the back, of engaging the community in the creation of programming. And, we program music very differently than a lot of festivals. We don't just have one person or a couple people choosing all the bands. We have a committee that chooses the bands. And every single band that applies to play to Brite gets reviewed by that committee, by at least 3 people on that committee. And it's a multi-step process. It's a very long and drawn out process, but it gets a lot more voices heard, and a lot, quite frankly, I think the product is just a lot better too when we have more people involved in the decision making. And then on the visual art side, we've done an increasingly good job at partnering with community organizations and having volunteers come in to create the art that is at Brite. And Morgan is super involved in that and is a great artist herself. So, she can speak more to that. But I think those are the ways I've seen Brite grow.
Yeah, I would love to hear more about that art aspect of it, because the music is a thing in and of itself, but to create like a visual effect as well. Morgan, how does that whole process work?
Yeah, well, I wish I had our art director here with us, because she can speak much more eloquently than I can about the art. But we have worked with organizations in the past, such as Sankofa Fine Arts, Cleveland Museum of Art. This year in particular, we are diving into the theme of Lucky 13 and what luck and gratitude and prosperity really means to us, and through different talismans and different cultures. So you'll be able to find all of these lovely pieces that we create as a community. At Brite Winter, we just have a blast creating these pieces, reusing and recycling old works, turning it into different things. I know this year too, we do have a school partnership with CMSD. I always mess it up. But the students there are going to be creating different pieces of work on these, I want to say 7 panels. Don't quote me on that, but it's going to be a really beautiful project, and I can't wait to see what they do and come up with, because the vision's theirs. So we're just showcasing it at our festival.
I love that. The different dynamics of, that sounds like such a wide spectrum too, which I think is the point that you are getting across, not only in the art, but back to the music as well. The hip hop, the rock, the reggae, the jazz, like there's something for everybody at Brite Winter. And that's honestly my favorite part is just being able to see the wide scope of things. Where did you make that decision? When has it always been that dynamic, or did it start off as maybe more of an alternative vibe and then, kind of grow into itself?
We've had, we've always been multi-genre, but I think we've gotten more and more of a balanced mix over the years. Mm-hmm. And I think we've done a better job of really elevating and promoting artists in all genres in recent years. I think, if I were to rewind 10 years ago, it was mostly alternative stuff, mostly like alt rock and that kind of thing. And those were the bigger bands that we hosted. I feel like now we're much more balanced in our approach. We still do have some limitations in that, like, acoustic instruments are really tough outdoors in the winter. So we don't have every genre ever. But we do have Americana and folk and hip hop and rap and R&B, and we have Brazilian music this year, and rock and punk and all sorts of stuff. So we have a brass band. Yeah. So we have all sorts of stuff. So it'll be really fun. And I think, and that's been very intentional, quite frankly. It's been very intentional to get a good mix, because exactly what you said, like, we want to be a festival that everyone feels welcome at, and that where people can find something they like already, but find something that maybe they didn't know they liked, but now they do because they got exposed to it. And I think one of the great things about Brite is that it's so easy to just bop around and hear so much music in a short period of time that you're bound to discover something new and something different and some new local talent.
Oh, it's the best part. It's very Cleveland. It's very Cleveland, like to just have this mesh, this intertwined fusion of just everyone likes something different, but they all like the same thing. And it's my favorite thing about Cleveland. It really just makes it a more dynamic experience for everybody. And it pulls new people in a different way that they didn't think they would have before. So it's amazing to see this right here in our backyard being able to be executed.
I think that's one of my favorite things about being a part of Brite Winter is just the discovery of all of the talent. I wouldn't know most of these bands had I not been involved and going and attending Brite Winter. It's really opened my eyes and it's become a really great avenue for me to discover, and I love it.
Now, there's also, not just the music and the arts, but there's food as well. There's other activities and games. Could you talk more about that and the experience that people will be going through as they're there on that day, which, by the way, is February 26th?
And I could take this one, Emily, if you don't
go
mind.
ahead. Yeah.
We have a handful of food trucks that are going to be at Brite this year. Swenson's, which is always a top contender.
Good night.
Mana Truck. We also have Wild Spork for, vegans. I also saw today we have an ice cream station as well, which I'm super excited about. I gotta pull up its name while I'm on this. I want to say it's Sprinkles.
I think it's Sprinkles and Milk or Sprinkles and something. Yeah.
Yeah. I was popping it into our website today and I was just super excited about it because that's something new. I don't think we've ever really had ice cream at Brite Winter.
No.
So very fun.
For lack of a better pun, Cleveland really has no chill when it comes to ice cream in the winter. Like, it doesn't matter. We're gonna have that.
We're gonna smash.
I mean, it's not going to make you colder. So that's
I'll also tell you, Platform Beer has been a wonderful sponsor of us for a very long time. We'll have plenty of Platform Beer to drink and enjoy.
That's probably my favorite brewery in Cleveland. Don't tell the others. I'm sorry, Rev. I'm sorry.
Give me a nice Jude.
Oh, yeah.
Case Jude is going to be on tap, and I think we've got a cider, and we've got and we'll have other drinks too. But like Morgan said, Platform's been very good to us, so we're excited to present them as well.
Now, I want to run it back to the top. So from the start, Emily, you said that you and your partner sitting at a bar, chatting, talking about this concept. Had you had any event planning experience prior to this?
No, but I have 32 first cousins, so like any get together is an event in my family. I didn't really have any event planning experience, and to be honest with you, from the beginning I didn't think of it as an event so much as an art experience, which I know it's splitting hairs a little bit, but for me, it was always about the cultural and arts experience and the experience, like creating a common experience for people. And the fact that it's become a huge event is great. That means more people are sharing in that experience. So I don't know that I really thought of it as being an event at first, though. From my perspective, it was just important to just create something, period.
And that's what I think, what Jerbs and I like to say we do too. We're working on a locally grown podcast, and it's really not for anybody but us. We want to make it in a more accessible way and, just make it easier for people to be able to reach us and connect with us. And I think the rest just follows.
Yeah, I think, so prior to being at Case, I did study nonprofit management. So I do have a nonprofit management background. That does come into play, and that helps a lot when it comes to managing an organization and fundraising and all those things that you don't see when you're at the festival, but it takes up most of our time as an organization. And again, this is like the unsexy part of it, but it's not just all about the day of. There's a ton of work that goes into managing people and managing money and managing stuff. And we've got a really strong, great team. And we've been together for a long time at this point. So we all know our roles. We know what we're good at. We know what to pass off to others. And so that, that helps a lot.
Yeah, I always used to say, I've done a little bit of event planning in the past, and the event itself is the easy part. Like
Right.
the day of, it's all done.
Piece of
Yeah.
cake.
You might have to answer a call here or there, but that's the easy part. It's all of the stuff that goes in before. So it is amazing that you have such a strong team to fall back on, but also with a strong team, there's a strong leader. So it's very empowering for, us as these local females who get to see this work get done and flourish.
I think Brite is also so one of the things we do with Brite, and one of the things that's been an increasing part of Brite's identity, is sort of training and nurturing younger leaders, whether it's people who are at Baldwin Wallace in their arts management program. We have some film students coming from Cleveland State this year. We've worked with Tri-C Jazz Fest in the past. Morgan mentioned we're working with Cleveland Municipal Schools art students as well. But then also, we're an organization that has a pretty diverse board, both in terms of like demographics, like racial and ethnic makeup and income, but also experience in terms of their board experience. So people who this is their first board experience, and people who this is their 18th board experience. So I think it's an organization that is welcoming to newer people and to younger people, or maybe less experienced people who are just interested and want to put the work in and learn. And so I think we take that part of our job pretty seriously too.
That's amazing. Thank you for what you're doing for the next gen. And I see, even in the music, School of Rock is coming.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. I'll tell you.
Yeah. They're always, those kids are always amazing. It's a different group of kids every year. Right. And every year I'm like, man, those kids can play. And I don't know why it surprises me every year. It's like these little people, and they're not that little, but these like relatively small people up there on stage. And I'm like, they are shredding right now. Like this is
blow me away.
Yeah.
Fully giving it their all. We've interviewed a couple of bands that started as School of Rock bands and have now been able to take that into their own. And we're like, you're how old?
Yeah.
Right.
14
Literally like 15.
Yeah.
But Brite Winter, it's going to be an amazing day. Are you guys expecting anything newer to the program?
We're always like 80% outdoors. But this year, because of the pandemic, we made the call to be 100% outdoors. So that'll be a new experience for us, because all 4 of our stages are outdoor stages. So I think it'll have a bit of a more traditional music festival feel because of that. But on the other hand, we're going to miss some of that smaller feel to it because we're going to lack the indoor spaces this year. So that's one new thing. Brite is ticketed this year. So that's another, we had tickets in 2020 as well. But it certainly is going to help us with the financial aspects of running the organization, but also just keeping track of people and being able to communicate with people if we issue tickets. So those are a couple of things that are new. Morgan, anything else other than the fabulous new hats that we have?
Yeah, these are our hats this year.
Oh, cute.
I would definitely say too, as we said, we are 100% outdoors. Bundle up. That's our number one rule.
Yeah.
Please bundle up.
And don't look cute. Like no one cares if you're like, no one looks cute when they're freezing to death. So
Wasn't planning on it.
What's that?
I said wasn't planning on it.
Yeah. No, it's funny because no matter how many times we tell people like you're going to be outside for X number of hours, they show up in like sweatshirts and like tennis shoes, and it's like no. You need a hat, you need mittens, you need multiple layers. Like just bundle up.
just an idea concept, maybe a table of moms, like concerned moms who just have scarves and hats and gloves.
Yeah.
Well,
We've talked for years about having like a Brite fashion show, which would basically be totally unrecognizable humans in like, giant puffy things. So
yeah, yes, it'll be very Christmas Story-esque. Alfie's brother.
yeah.
Randy, he lay there like a slug.
Yeah.
That was his only defense.
Yeah.
That's all you could do.
Love it.
So who are you guys both personally most excited for when it comes to the roster of bands coming in?
Who goes first?
You go ahead. You start.
Whoever's
Oh
most
my gosh.
excited.
Okay. I am super excited about Angela Purley. She is going to be at 350 at the stage in the lot. Parker Lewis also has a phenomenal voice. And he's playing on the main stage, Highland stage on Elm Avenue at 6:50 p.m. So those are my top two that I'm definitely going to circle and go see. But also, I really love the Buffalo Riders as well. They play at 7:50. I believe they're Akron based, and I really love it.
And I'm excited for our headliner, a group called Colony House. They're out of Nashville. So they've got a really interesting sound that changes song to song. So it's not like listening to the same song over and over, which I think will be really fun. And we've heard really good things about their live performances from committee members who suggested them to us. So I'm really excited about them. I'm also excited about LoCLE. They're kind of a harder sounding female-led band that we had booked to play the Twilight Zone last year, our web series. But then, they got sick and couldn't play. And so I'm excited to actually have them playing this year. I think that'll be really fun. And sort of another throwback, the Ben Gage band. Ben Gage is a musician out of Akron, and he helped us a bunch last year with our Twilight Zone series. He's an amazing musician, and I've never heard him perform live. So I'm excited to actually just see a friend perform. That'll be fun too.
That's awesome. Fun fact, LoCLE was the first band that Locally Grown interviewed 2 years ago.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, they're rocking. They're rocking.
Yeah.
You gotta hold on to your hat for that.
Yeah.
Hold on to your Brite
Yes.
Winter hat.
Yes.
Well, is there any final note? We're so excited for it to pop off this Saturday, February 26th. And is there anything else that you guys wanted to let people know as they're going to be heading over?
Bundle up, have fun, and we'll see you there.
Nailed it.
Deal. All right.
Love it.
Perfect. Well, I think that just about wraps up this chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us and taking some time out of the insane planning that you guys are going through. And on top of that, having your day jobs as well. I want to say I don't know how you do it, but I'm here doing the same thing with you. And it takes a certain type of person. So, thank you guys for what you're doing to Cleveland. And we cannot wait for what the next years are to come.
Just help out support local, especially if you call this home. Listen on your radio.